justice, temperance, wisdom, courage. Applying ancient philosophy to modern times, this is the Sunday Stoic.
Io Saturnalia. Today is the first day of the Roman holiday of Saturnalia. And as we'll see in the reading by Seneca, not much has changed in 2,000 years. Moral Letters to Lucilius by Seneca, number 28, on festivals and fasting. It is the month of December, and yet the city is at this very moment in a sweat. License is given to the general merrymaking. Everything resounds with mighty preparations, as if the Saturnalia differed at all from the usual business day. So true it is that the difference is nil, that I regard as correct the remark that a man who once said, "Once December was a month, now it is a year." But if I had you with me, I should be glad to consult you and find out what you think should be done, whether we ought to make no change in our daily routine, or whether, in order not to be out of our sympathy with the ways of the public, it shows much more courage to remain dry and sober when the mob is drunk and vomiting, but it shows greater self-control to refuse to withdraw oneself and to do what the crowd does, but in a different way, this neither making oneself conspicuous or becoming one of the crowd, for one may keep the holiday without extravagance. Seneca could easily be writing about Christmas. What once felt like a few days celebration now takes all year. I know they start selling Christmas stuff in October now, or even sooner. What's interesting here is to look at how the Stoics might celebrate a holiday. Should they shut themselves off from the party and be happy with their virtue all by themselves, or should they practice the discipline of action and engage with their fellow human beings? Seneca ranks the options here. The worst option is to join the crowd and get drunk loud and proud. The next option is not to party, but to be sober while everyone else is out partying and drinking. Best option here is to join the party, but in moderation. You can have a glass of wine, you can enjoy yourself, but you don't get out of control with the rest of the mob. So don't segregate yourself from everyone around you. Join in, but do so stoically. Now, my wife and son and I just got back from Thanksgiving in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and now we're about to drive 12 hours to Ohio for Christmas. And we're very happy to have family all over the place, and I'm glad we get to see them, but it's rough not having a little bit of time at home to celebrate with each other. We spend very few holidays at our own house, so we're going to start a new tradition this year. We are actually going to celebrate Saturnalia. Saturnalia was a Roman festival starting on the 17th of December, and they celebrated the Roman god of Saturn. He's the god of agriculture, liberation, and other things. And Saturnalia lasted from a few days in parts of of Roman history all the way up to at least a week. And the Romans did a lot of things. They celebrated by decorating trees outside with stars and sun ornaments and things. They put wreaths in their home. They gave gifts. They overate. They danced in the streets. They wore felt caps that were typically reserved for freed slaves, indicating liberation and freedom. They allowed for role reversals, so slave owners would serve their slaves dinner. The slaves were allowed to speak out and make fun of their masters that day. Children might be heads of the household for the day. Now, personally, I don't really believe in the god Saturn, but I like the idea of our own little holiday where we can borrow traditions and make up our own. And I took a lot of inspiration from the blog Unbound Worlds, and I'll post a link in the show notes. And they recommend some geeky ways to celebrate Saturnalia. And I know it might come as a shock to you. I hope you're sitting down. I am a bit of a geek. Yeah, I know. I'm glad that's off my chest now. But here's how we are going to celebrate Saturnalia. Rather than put up an altar to the god Saturn, we are going to honor Saturnalia, a fairly recently described dinosaur. So rather than celebrate a god, we'll celebrate a dinosaur. And that dinosaur will have a place of honor at our dinner table on the day of Saturnalia, which oddly enough is today if you're listening to the show when it comes out. We're going to give each other small gifts. that day, so little gifts, maybe some gag gifts, which would be right in with the tradition of the original Saturnalia. We're going to bake some star-shaped cookies, maybe some dinosaur-shaped cookies, and the lowliest member of the household will get the best dinner. In this case, I guess that will be our dog, Dexter. Gambling with dice was legalized briefly during Saturnalia, so we are going to do the same thing. I'm going to challenge my wife to a game of backgammon, and I'll wager maybe like $1 or something crazy. If you don't want to play with money, you can always wager with nuts. I guess the Romans like to do that too. Lastly, we'll cozy up after the merrymaking. We'll have some snacks of olives and other appropriate appetizers and things as well. Have a nice dinner, and then give some gifts, and then we will play backgammon, and then lastly we'll snuggle up to a nice holiday movie like Jurassic Park, or maybe we'll watch some of the series Rome or Gladiator or something like that. So make our own little tongue-in-cheek holiday, nodding our hats to the Romans that gave us a lot of the works that we read to understand the philosophy of Stoicism, but also just enjoying our own little holiday where we don't have to go anywhere. So I hope you have a happy holidays, and I'll put out another show on Christmas Eve, December 24th, on the Stoic discipline of ascent. And until I see you again, Carpe diem.